Story Corner, presented by Jennifer. Ferret in the bedroom, lizards in the fridge. Chapter 2, Liz-ard. Okay, now if you have not yet seen the first video for Ferret in the bedroom, lizards in the fridge, I suggest you go view it now, as this is a continuation of that story. His eyes held mine, but it was only for a couple of seconds. Then the darn bell had to ring. Everybody leapt up and headed for the door. "There are parents in the hall," Mrs. Jones shouted above the racket. "Don't run over them." Right then, who else but Jo Donna Hunt jumped out of her seat, walked right up to Shane Garrison, and started talking. She tossed her head so her long blonde curls bounced. Even from way back at my desk, I could hear her oozy sweet voice of hers, and her fake gushy giggle. She had her back to me, but I could almost see her long eyelashes fluttering at Shane, flapping and bouncing like some heroine I'd seen in an old-time movie. Something went clunk on my desk. I looked up. Sally dropped her book bag in front of me and frowned. "You all right?" I gave a half smile. "Sure, why?" "I thought you were asleep or something," she teased, "sitting there with your mouth flopped open. Come on." She grabbed my arm and dragged me away from my desk. "We've got a million things to do. Only a week to get your campaign really rolling." "Let's go." When I was on my feet, she crammed her books into my book bag into my arms. "You know the combination to my gym locker. Go get my stuff and put it in here. I'll go catch up to some of the other girls before they leave. We've got to get posters and stuff done this weekend. Hurry up. I'll meet you at the flagpole." She shoved me towards the door, then climbed over 2 rows of desks so she could catch up with Tina Simmons before she left. I walked real slow by the front of the room, hoping to hear what Jo Donna was saying, hoping that maybe, just maybe, Shane might look at me again. I was almost close enough to hear what they were saying when Ted Barton walked over and slugged me on the shoulder. "Hey, good going in the runoff," Ted almost yelled. Then, even louder, he said, I didn't know you'd make it this far. Liz-ard." My eyes scrunched up real tight when I turned on him. He laughed and took a step backwards. "Oh, excuse me," he said, putting a hand over his mouth. "I forgot you don't like your nickname, Liz-ard. You want people to call you Elizabeth, right?" My eyes were scrunched up so tight I could barely see. I wanted to reach out and punch him in the nose. Only I was standing right in front of Shane and Jo Donna, so I took a deep breath and kept walking. Ted looked kind of disappointed when I didn't at least yell at him. He shrugged and reached down for his books. And right when I got to the door, he called, "Good luck anyways, Liz-ard." I just wanted to die. I felt even worse by the time I got to the girls' gym. It was bad enough that Ted Barden had embarrassed me in front of the cutest boy in school, but when I got to digging around in my locker and found the socks. Yuck! They were wadded up in the bag. I remember the day I got them wet and stuffed them there. But I thought I'd taken them home 2 weeks ago. Wrong! They were dirty and gringy since I'd worn them for 2 weeks. Then I got them wet and tossed them into the locker and accidentally laid a towel over them. Now they were so dry and crusty they stuck together, and they smelled like something dead. I looked around to make sure nobody was watching, then reached in with 2 fingers and picked them up. Real quick, I stuffed them in the bottom of my book bag and crammed the rest of my gym stuff on top of them. I decided to leave my locker open while I got Sally's stuff. Nobody would walk by. If the girls ever found out it was my old socks that were stinking up the locker room, I'd be the laughingstock of the whole school. They might even change my name from Liz-ard to Stinky. Even worse, they might start calling me Stinky Liz-ard. Quick as I could, I worked the combination to Sally's locker. When I opened it, I couldn't believe the pile of junk she had. There were about 3 pairs of socks, 4 tops, and 3 shorts. 1 pair of shorts didn't even look like it had been worn. Sure hope I can cram all this into this one book bag of hers, I thought. Everything went fine till I got down to the bottom of Sally's locker. There I found some smelly towels that she had thrown in. The one on the very bottom was dry in the middle, but had a sort of green stuff growing on the edge. I hated to pick it up, and after I finally did, it was so stiff I couldn't even get it to uncrinkle. It just kind of sat there, in a lump, the way Sally had thrown it into her locker. I stood holding it between my thumb and finger, wondering what to do. I hated to put it in Sally's bag with the rest of the stuff. If I was in the backyard at home, I'd find a shovel and bury it. From the other side of the locker, I heard Miss Wimberly. "How long have these shorts been in here, young lady?" she scolded. "They're downright dingy, and the waistband is so stiff, and the smell!" I held my breath and crammed the towel into Sally's bag. I zipped it shut before Mrs. Wimberly could come around from the other side of the lockers. Then I slammed the doors and left. Sally was waiting for me by the flagpole. I handed her the book bag and tried to warn her about the towel, but she didn't care. She was too busy thinking about my campaign. "I'll tell you my master plan on the way home," Sally motioned for me to follow. "First off, we've got to have more and better posters than Joe Donna. Only that's not enough. What we really need are people. And I figure the best way to get people to vote for you is to get people to help with your campaign. If we get a bunch of people to help with posters, then they're going to feel like they're part of your campaign and really get out and get others to vote for you, right?" She didn't give me time to answer. "So what we're going to do is get all our friends to come over to your house Sunday afternoon and paint posters. I'll come over tonight and we can make up a list of everybody to invite. We'll get a list of all the girls and guys you went to grade school with and all the people that were in our homeroom in 4th and 5th grade center. Sally kept talking 90 to nothing, but somehow I quit listening. I didn't stand a chance against Joe Donna. She was beautiful. Her clothes were perfect. It seemed like she wore a new dress almost every day, and no matter what we did in school, she never got mussed up. Her hair was something else, too. Either her mother sent her to a beauty shop every day after school, or they got up and fixed it first thing every morning. Maybe both. I remember one time in 2nd grade when we got into a fight. I told everyone that Joe Donna had fake eyelashes. One rainy day during inside recess, when the teacher was out of the room, I grabbed hold of one of them to prove it to everyone. Only the thing didn't come off. Joe Donna ran to the teacher screaming and crying. I sure got in a bunch of trouble over that. I missed a whole week of recess. Of course, Joe Donna and I never did get along too well. Remembering back, I think it all started in 1st grade. My daddy, who's a zoology professor at Oklahoma University, let me take one of his lizards to class for show and tell. The thing got loose and crawled across Jordana's foot. She squealed and screamed and acted real sissy-like. Then, at recess, she and her friends ran around calling me Lizard Lady. Well, after a year or so, they dropped the lady part. Since my name was Elizabeth and everybody called me Liz, they just added the "ard" to the end of it. It was all Jordana's fault that I got named Liz-ard. If she hadn't been such a sissy about Daddy's lizard crawling on her foot, it wasn't my fault my daddy was a zoologist. It wasn't my fault that he had animals all over the house. It was all Jordana's. Are you listening to me? Sally jabbed me with her elbow. Huh? You're acting like you're a million miles away, Liz. Pay attention. We were in front of my house, on the sidewalk that led to the sun porch where Daddy kept his lizard collection. Darn old lizards anyways, I thought. Sally slugged me with her book bag. I'm going to go through this one more time, she said. You pay attention. First off, I'll be over after supper. We'll make out our list of people to call and help with your campaign. Then Saturday, we'll call them. Sunday, we'll get together and make posters and stuff. And Sunday night, we'll do your hair and get you all made up for Monday. Do my hair? Sally nodded. Yes, I knew you weren't listening. We're going to do your hair and use some of my mother's makeup on you. Come Monday, you're going to look simply gorgeous. We're going to beat that darn Jordana at her own game. You're kidding, I guessed. For gosh sakes, Sally, look at me. My hair's so straight I could stick my finger in a light socket and it wouldn't curl. It's a yucky brown color. It's about the color of Daddy's Ferret. I've got freckles all over my nose and cheeks. My eyebrows and eyelashes are so short my face almost looks bald. And you're going to tell me you're going to fix me up and overnight I'm going to look better than Jordana? Sally smiled and threw her head back. That's right, you're pretty. All I could do was shake my head. Sally, I sighed, you're nuts. Ever since you went to the library with your parents and took that course on positive thinking, you've been nuts. I may be a lot of things, but the last thing I am is pretty. Sally kept right on smiling. You are pretty, Liz. You just don't know it yet. I've got to get home. See you after supper. She took off down the block towards her house, leaving me standing on the sidewalk shaking my head. Mama was under the kitchen sink, trying to fix a leaky drain pipe with a big pipe wrench. I squatted down so I could see her. Mama? Yes, dear. Do you think I'm pretty? She was laying on her back. She stopped wrestling with the wrench and looked at me between her knees. Yes, dear, you're a very lovely young girl. Then a drop of water plopped right between her eyes, and she went back to fighting with the drain. I went down the hall to my room and dumped my gym clothes in a corner. Then I walked over and looked at my reflection in the mirror. I smiled and fluttered my eyelashes like I'd seen Jordana do so many times. I tossed my head, but my hair just laid there. Finally, I shrugged. Nope, not pretty, I thought. Then, with a smile, I tried to convince myself. Maybe cute. Not pretty. But maybe I'm kind of cute. The only trouble is, it's hard to feel cute, much less pretty, when a ferret is squatting on your head.